Alright, so I'm just going to fix up this handle a little bit. At this point, you know, instead of watching me go through all these processes, first I would go back and don't watch this video all the way through. Go back and reach a stage and then come back to it. Like, you should be working on the blade first, and then you work on this part, and then you work on the handle. Um, and then keep coming back to this. Don't watch the video the entire way through, because what's going to happen is you're going to get hung up on detail, and you're also going to be too concentrated on what I'm doing, and you're going to keep breaking your mental thought going from your drawing over to the video. Okay, so that's probably the most important thing I could say to you is don't watch the entire video all at once. You know, work out a concept yourself, work out a silhouette, and then go on with the video. And please do not think that I'm asking everybody that for an assignment to make such a detailed sword. It's going to be one of those things where I'm looking for something, and I'm going to keep the idea very open. So now I'm just making exaggerated forms here. And every once in a while, I'll put a diamond in it, or a gem, or something small, something interesting. That way, it becomes this little tiny centerpiece, and everybody looks at that first. And pretty soon, I'll get into these very high contrasty things. I don't want to do it just yet, but trust me, it's coming. This is still the sketch phase. Okay, for this stuff, you know, I might want to, while I'm here, sometimes I'll work texture into it right off the bat, just because I know it doesn't take that long. So this is texture. It's just going to be this stuff, this noise that when you concentrate it on a further distance, that's the beauty about drawing on the computer, is the fact that you can zoom in very far and add some details, and then you can zoom way out and get those details. Now the problem is everybody that usually draws on the computer for the very first time concentrates so much on details, like they'll zoom in here and try to make all these lines absolutely perfect, and then they're going to come to find out that it's kind of a worthless cause anyway, because of the fact that when you do uh, print this or use it as a concept piece, you don't see those little details anyway. So oops, the zoom tool got me. There we go. And I'm using my mouse navigation here, and be careful doing that. Sometimes it's easier to use navigator, but if you get used to it, it's alt on the keyboard with the pen. And now I might work in some of that white I was talking about earlier. All I'm doing here is just lightly touching this every once in a while with a white. And you can start seeing the render process and how that works. Okay, when I zoom out, that's what I get. This immense detail. Okay, same goes with this shape. I like this shape. It just needs to be pulled out a little bit. Just like that. This shape needs to be pulled out too. Okay, for this stuff, what I might do is do some light black with a 1 pixel brush and make some incredibly small noise. Again, I'm not really too concerned about going over it, over the form. I'm just, just adding this cool texture stuff to it. And what I'm doing here is shading it back using texture. And sometimes I'll need something a little bit stronger to kind of clean it up. There we go. Okay, so this is my detailing phase. And I just wanted to kind of show you, it's not so scary. Things that need to be repaired here, obviously, is the fact that this is now contrastier than this. See how this is really, it's rendered. This is unrendered. So you don't want to leave elements of renderedness inside a piece next to unrendered pieces. So to help preserve the renderedness of it all, what I could do is like zoom in and concentrate on maybe some of this little stuff. And I said don't get too hung up on that because you can quickly fall into a trap. Right now I'm looking for a very specific shade of white. Something I can kind of play around with every once in a while. And then I'm trying to figure out the texture here because I'm thinking thorns and I'm not sure what they look like as far as up close or so I'm just kind of fudging it, as they say in the industry. So I'll make these incredibly small amounts of detail here. And then what I'll do is I'll coat it with a super light black. I'll pull that form back a little bit. and I'm only coating it on either side of it, and I leave this stuff right here alone, the stuff in the center of the form. And now I'm just scribbling all kinds of craziness in here. Again, every once in a while, I'll use maybe a black at a higher level, and with a really small, and I'll just kind of go like this, and this will separate those forms out. And I'm just lightly touching things. I'm not really going in here. Just kind of haphazardly chicken plucking onto this thing. Whoa. Alright, and I reached a stage where I want to go into another video. So please move on to the next video.